Hello, pup parents, and welcome to today's episode of the Perfect Pup Podcast. My name is Devin. I'm excited and a little bit nervous about today's episode. I've never done an episode like this before. Today, I want to talk about three life lessons I learned from the passing of my dog, Buddy. So let's get right into it. I promise I won't let this episode get too dark or too heavy because the death of a dog is very, very, very sad. And it is, for myself, unlike anything I've ever experienced before. And it has been a very, very challenging time for me and my wife. And I wanted to look at some of the more positive parts of my last few days with my dog Buddy and some of the things that I learned, and hopefully these things that I learned can help you have a more fulfilling and enriching life with your dog in particular, because at the end of the day, that's the point of this podcast. That's the point of Pupford. That's the point of, everything we're doing at Pupford is to help people like yourself have better relationship with their dogs. So hopefully these three lessons can help do that for you and your dog. First things first, Buddy was an amazing dog. My wife got Buddy when she was about 10 years old. So he was 15 when he passed away, and he has been in my wife's family that entire time. And then, my family, once my wife and I got married, he's lived with us for the past 4 years. He has been a very integral part of our family and of our life. And losing a dog is very, very difficult. And later down the road, I will do an episode about kind of how to deal with the death of a dog. But in this episode, I want to talk about some of the lessons that I learned from Buddy, who was an amazing dog. The first thing, and I want to frame these as life lessons. Truthfully, they are kind of regrets in a sense, but I don't want to look back on such a negative outlook. I just want to look at them as things that I'm going to learn and hopefully can help you with your dog. So the first thing is patience with our dogs. Having a dog is difficult. Raising a puppy is hard. Even an adult dog, a rescue dog, a senior dog, it's tough. There's a lot of challenges. And truthfully, our dogs can get on our nerves from time to time, right? Like there are some times where they do things and you think you've taught them clearly, or, you over and over saying the same thing or trying to get the same thing to happen. And it can be this lifelong struggle. And that little perspective was passed on to me with the passing of my dog of sometimes we just have to be patient with our dogs, even for some of the things that they're going to continue to do that might bother us. So, Buddy was very mischievous. He loved to get into things. He was a puggle, so half pug, half beagle. And that beagle in him, he loved food. He loved sniffing things out. We always had a joke, even if you had a backpack or something with just a wrapper of like a Tootsie Roll from 3 years ago, he would find it and he would rip through your backpack to try and get to that wrapper because he could smell that there was food on it at one point. So that's his level of drive. That's his level of, food motivation. And it made, for some very frustrating moments of, oh, we come home and he had ripped through something, even when we thought we had dog proofed the entire house and put everything away, he would find something. And in the moment, there was a lot of frustrating times there, but it gave me some perspective towards the end of his life to just try to laugh at some of those moments. Obviously, if your dog's in danger, it's not a laughing thing, but trying to find some of the humor and just enjoying your dog's, I guess, personality and the fact that he would rifle through everything. It's a reminder to hopefully all of us to just be patient with our dogs, because you'll never look back on your dog's life toward the end of their life. You'll never look back and say to yourself, "Oh, I wish I would have gotten more frustrated at my dog," or "I wish I would have, yelled at my dog more." But there will definitely be times where you think to yourself, "Man, I should have been more patient. I should have just remembered he's just a dog. He just is doing dog things. He's living a dog life." So that's the first lesson that I learned from the passing of my dog. The second one is really simple, but it's just to take more pictures. I'm sure a lot of you just laughed because you probably open your camera roll and it's all pictures of your dog. And that's great, honestly, because for my wife and I, with in the moments where we're really sad and we're missing Buddy, a lot of times pulling up pictures and looking at pictures of him when he was happy and healthy, and videos of him running or doing his favorite things. Those moments are memories that are important, and I think it really is important to capture those as much as you can, of your dog. And I think that goes for all things in life. Trying to capture memories with photos and videos. But I found for myself and for my wife and I, with the passing of our dog, Buddy, it was great to have those pictures, and it was great to kind of see all the different memories that we had with him, and being able to kind of relive those moments now that he's passed on. And the third lesson that I've learned from the passing of my dog Buddy is just to enjoy the small moments. I think that's one of the biggest lessons that Buddy, as an individual dog, taught me, was to slow down and enjoy things, especially as he got older. He lived his last few months in New York City, and he loved going on walks, and he loved stopping and sniffing everything, and stopping and taking it slowly and exploring the nooks and crannies of every single street. And I think there's a really big lesson in there for all of us individually, but as well as a pup parent, is just to enjoy those small moments. Sometimes it can feel like, oh, I've got to go out on a walk. I don't have a lot of time. I have a million things to do. But taking that time to just enjoy those small moments with your dog, because you won't regret that. You won't regret kind of trying to slow down and capture those important moments of the experiences that you've had with your dog, and just enjoying the small moments, when your dog is, rolls over and wants a belly rub, and or wants to go out on a walk and is overly excited. Like, that's a life lesson in itself, to just be excited about going out on the streets and walking around. So again, I know this was a little bit of a different episode. I didn't have really a specific script or anything on this. It was just kind of three main ideas that I've been thinking a lot about over the past couple weeks, after the passing of our dog. And I hope that these lessons help you just have a little bit more meaningful of a connection with your dog, and have a little bit more happiness and more moments and more memories, because it is cliche, but one day your dog's life is going to come to an end. And it is a terrible experience, and it's truly sad, and it is not something I would wish on my own worst enemy. But I have learned a lot of perspective in this experience, specifically that our dogs, I believe, have shorter lifespans than us, because, again, that in itself is a lesson that they want to teach us, that life is short. There's not a lot of time, and we have to take advantage of the time that we do have with our dogs. So I hope you can learn a little bit from my life lessons from Buddy. He's a great dog, and I hope that you remember to just give your dog that extra walk, or give him an extra belly rub, and be extra nice to them, because, as sad as it sounds, the truth is they are not going to be around forever. And so remembering these moments, and again, having patience with your dog, taking more pictures and videos, and enjoying the small moments, you will be so happy in the long run when you do those things. I hope you like this episode. I know it was a little bit different, more of an opinion style, but it felt important to me to share this episode with you guys, with you folks who listen to this podcast regularly, and even new listeners. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please leave a review of the podcast if you haven't already. I read all of those, specifically the ones on Apple Podcasts. That's the easiest ones for me to find, and it helps the most for the podcast to be recognized and listened to by other pup parents. So thank you again for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.